Where is Caitlin Clark? Where's the moneymaker? Where's the needle mover? Where's the name that everybody knows? Where's the name that draws the most viewership? Where's the name that draws the most attention?
Got to print up here. I'm going to be real with y'all, Team USA. Caitlin Clark need to be on the phone. Hold on. I don't want to go there. But KCB's going to go there. Why ain't Caitlin Clark on the damn picture? Stop playing games.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to stop pretending that what is happening to Caitlin Clark is merely a string of unfortunate coincidences. This is not the result of incompetence or poor marketing by those running women's basketball. What we are witnessing in real time is a coordinated, deliberate, and malicious campaign aimed at psychologically breaking the greatest player of her generation. The recent announcement of the 2026 USA Basketball World Cup qualifying team may seem celebratory on the surface, with headlines proclaiming Caitlin Clark's inclusion, but the fine print tells a far darker story. This is not a recognition of her talent. It is a trap designed to humble her, to obscure her presence, and to force her back under the control of the very people she has been trying to escape. There are two glaring examples of this. First, the promotional graphic inexplicably erases her face from the marketing of her own team. Second, the hiring of Stephanie White, the coach who arguably sabotaged her WNBA season while serving as an assistant for Team USA, sends a chilling message. Taken together, this feels less like a basketball roster announcement and more like a horror movie, where the protagonist tries to escape only to find the villain waiting for her inside the house.
Why is Kara Lawson a coach? Duke stinks. Her offense is absolute garbage in college. Duke started out as a top 10 team. Bro, they stink, bro. Don't nobody want to watch them play. How's it's a few things I got problems with. I don't know how Kara Lawson's the coach. I don't know how Stephanie White is over there. Like this whole thing is looking wacky.
Let's start with the visual evidence, because in 2026, marketing is everything. USA Basketball released the official graphic to promote the upcoming games in Puerto Rico. And yet, despite having 12 roster spots and the most famous female athlete on the planet, Caitlin Clark, a woman who sells out NBA arenas and has single-handedly increased the valuation of the entire sport by billions of dollars, she is nowhere to be seen. Instead, the poster features Aaliyah Boston, Chelsea Gray, and Ryan Howard. No disrespect to these world-class talents, but the truth is clear. Ryan Howard is not selling pay-per-view subscriptions. Chelsea Gray is not driving Twitter engagement. And Caitlin Clark is the engine, the sun around which the rest of the basketball universe revolves. So why would USA Basketball choose to hide the sun? This level of marketing malpractice is too extreme to be accidental. It is intentional. It is a message from the old guard, a passive-aggressive signal saying, "We don't need her." This is not Caitlin Clark's show. It is USA Basketball's show, and she is merely tolerated. The move is designed to dim her light so that veterans, friends of Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, don't feel insecure about their fading relevance.
USA cover, and she better be starting. I don't want to hear no Kelsey Plum is starting over her. I don't want to hear no Chelsea Gray is starting over her.
If the graphic is an insult, the coaching staff is a nightmare. And this is the part that should make every Caitlin Clark fan sick to their stomach. As one source video host put it perfectly, it's like she's being stalked. Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever and the woman many believe held Caitlin back during her WNBA season, has been named an assistant coach for this USA team. Think about the psychological toll. Caitlin goes to Team USA seeking a break, a chance to play with better talent in a free-flowing system, away from the stress of the Fever organization. And who walks through the door? Stephanie White. It feels like surveillance, like the establishment doesn't trust Caitlin to be unsupervised, so they are sending her WNBA handler to Puerto Rico to keep her on a leash. Stephanie White has never before been part of the USA basketball coaching pipeline in this way, but now that Caitlin is the star, she suddenly becomes essential. It reeks of politics, suggesting the old guard wants to ensure Caitlin doesn't get too big for her britches. If Caitlin were to average 30 points and 15 assists in a different style of basketball, it would make Stephanie White look bad and expose the flaws of the Fever system. By putting White on the bench in Puerto Rico, they maintain the status quo, ensure Caitlin is used the same way, and protect the narrative. They can claim, see, she plays the same way for Team USA as she does for Indiana. It's not the coaching, it's the player. This is a defensive move by the coaching fraternity to protect one of their own from being exposed by a generational talent.
Lady, what the f is going on? We cannot get away from this lady, man. Good God. I'm so sick of it. Stephanie White, the Indiana Fever, man. How is she now? All of a sudden.
The roster hierarchy raises a troubling concern about Caitlin Clark's role, because being on the team doesn't guarantee she will get the minutes she deserves. The lineup is stacked with old guard favorites: Chelsea Gray at point guard, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, players who won gold in 2024 while Caitlin sat at home. Do you really think head coach Cheryl Reeve, or whoever is pulling the strings, will bench Chelsea Gray for Caitlin Clark? History says no. USA basketball has consistently valued seniority over skill, waiting your turn over actual production. This sets up a scenario where the world's best player could come off the bench, playing just 15 minutes in a blowout against a weaker team, while Chelsea Gray runs the show. And if Caitlin or the fans complain, they will be labeled toxic or accused of disrespecting the legends. It's a trap. The entire tournament designed to force Caitlin to kiss the ring and reinforce the authority of the old guard.
Team USA made a massive mistake in 2024, failing to capitalize on the freight train that was Caitlin Clark.
This all ties back to the shadow of Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, with the host even calling Bird an opposition agent, and the evidence supports it. Bird is the most influential voice in women's basketball, the de facto shadow commissioner. If she wanted Caitlin Clark on the poster, Caitlin would be on the poster. If she wanted the offense to run through Caitlin, it would run through Caitlin. Yet the silence from the legends is deafening. They are watching this sabotage unfold in real time and saying nothing. Why? Because Caitlin threatens their legacy. If she takes over Team USA and drives viewership to unprecedented levels, it diminishes the Bird Taurasi era and makes them look like a prelude to the main event. Their egos, coddled for 2 decades by friendly media, cannot handle that, so they enable the sabotage, allow Stephanie White to shadow Caitlin like a stalker, and protect their own interests. Add to that the financial ties. Breanna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Sue Bird, they have equity in rival ventures and a vested interest in remaining the faces of women's basketball. If Caitlin becomes the undisputed star at the World Cup qualifiers, it hurts their brand equity. USA basketball is being used as a pawn in a business war, suppressing Caitlin's value to prop up the veterans, and it's corrupt, messy, and unfair to a player who just wants to play. The frustration is palpable for fans. After watching Caitlin endure a difficult Fever season, they hope Team USA will be a respite, only to see Stephanie White inserted into the coaching staff. A recurring nightmare that feels parasitic, like barnacles dragging her down while feeding off her momentum. And consider the casual fans. A poster with Aaliyah Boston or Ryan Howard doesn't capture attention. Caitlin Clark stops people, drives clicks, ticket sales, and engagement. By hiding her, USA basketball is intentionally choosing lower ratings, a smaller, quieter audience easier to control. A global audience that loves Caitlin is dangerous. They ask questions, demand better coaching, demand Chelsea Gray sit, and the old guard doesn't want that confrontation. The locker room is equally hostile. Caitlin will walk into Puerto Rico surrounded by players who snubbed her in 2024, by Stephanie White, who frustrated her all season, and by veterans like Chelsea Gray, who see her as a threat. They will freeze her out, ignore her passes, and refuse to run for her. USA basketball isn't building a team. They're building a pressure cooker, waiting for Caitlin to snap so they can label her a diva and remove her before the World Cup even begins.
Well, also reveals that Breanna Stewart will join the basketball women's national team in Miami for training camp March 7th through 8th. So she wasn't announced on the roster, but she will be joining them for a training camp March 7th through the 8th. Now, not on the starting lineup. When you realize her own coach isn't even advocating her to be on the starting lineup. Newsflash. You think, let's take a look. Hey, Stephanie, who do you think we should go with to start? Caitlin Clark, the player on your team, the generational talent, or Chelsea Gray? You look at me with a straight face and tell me Stephanie White's going to pick Caitlin Clark. And I'll look back at you and tell you you're lying. She's going to say, oh, Chelsea Gray, oh, old guard.
This is why the fans are furious. We were promised a new era, a torch to be passed, but the old guard is gripping it so tightly their knuckles are white. They refuse to let go, refusing to admit the game has evolved. Caitlin Clark represents a new style of play. Deep threes, high pace, massive usage that makes the old way look archaic. Instead of adapting, the coaches and veterans are trying to suppress her, forcing her to play their way. Pass the ball, wait your turn, dump it into the post. It's like buying a Ferrari and driving it in a school zone, a waste of greatness. So as we look toward March, don't let them gaslight you. When Stephanie White subs Caitlin out in the fourth quarter for defensive reasons, when the camera pans to Sue Bird in the stands, nodding approvingly as Chelsea Gray dribbles out the clock, when marketing emails highlight everyone's face except Caitlin's, know that it is all part of the plan. It is a concerted effort to erase her individual brilliance and subsume her into the collective mediocrity of the system. They want her to be just another brick in the wall, but Caitlin Clark was born to be the wrecking ball. The battle lines are drawn. On one side, the fans, the numbers, the future, and Caitlin Clark. On the other, the coaches, the veterans, the marketing department, Sue Bird, and Stephanie White. It is a lopsided fight, but Caitlin has defied the odds before. The real question is how much more disrespect she can endure before walking away, and maybe that's exactly what they want, to push her to quit so they can claim, see, she didn't have what it takes. But if history is any guide, Caitlin won't quit. She will force them to play her by being so undeniably good that even Stephanie White can't bench her. Make no mistake, she is playing against her own bench as much as she is playing against the teams from Puerto Rico. The ultimate snub isn't leaving her off the team, it's inviting her just to break her spirit. And that is a sin basketball history will never forgive.